by Greg.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Top 10 with me, Greg. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wasn't Defend It supposed to be this week? It was. Hey, Phil. How's it going? Everybody say hi to Phil. Wasn't Defend It supposed to be this week? Well, it was. But unfortunately, Gerard is very sick. So we're going to have Defend It for you next week. But right now we're doing the top 10, and I thought I'd do something special for you guys. You know, what do you guys know me for? Doing voiceovers, right? Well, I'm going to do the top 10 most memorable voiceovers. Top 10 most memorable voiceovers in video game history. Look, he's still here. He doesn't go away, he just stays. Cat.
10. Oh, the Wii Fit, the thing that tried to give gaming a healthy option. Buy this balance board and do some exercise type things on it. You could go jogging, biking, do aerobics, and even yoga. Things that you could do outside if you really wanted to. Anyways, everyone loved it. It was a revolution. Then the Wii got a little too forward. The Wii Fit also tracks your weight, BMI, and other such goodies. Let's just jump on the scale here and see how much we weigh. Whoa there, Mrs. Fit. Are you qualified to be throwing around the word obese so casually? Isn't that something a qualified physician should assess? Nah, you say it so nicely. Also gotta love that sound when you step on the balance board.
Oh.
Oh yeah, that's it. 9. One of the most comforting sounds originated from one of my favorite systems. Plug that Sega Genesis into the wall, hook up that RFU adapter, accidentally stab yourself with a coaxial cable while trying to do so, tune in to Channel 3, press that power button, and you'll be greeted by the coolest low-fidelity 2 notes you've ever heard. It didn't matter what game was being played, really. All that mattered was that you were playing it on the system that does what Nintendo don't. You know, I still foolishly wish that Sega would get back into the console wars. How sweet would that be? Dreamcast 2? Oh man, I know what I'm gonna ask Santa for this year. Money. There ain't gonna be a Sega system, kids. Let's have a moment of silence for the... I stopped caring. 8. You folks might be asking yourselves, how can such terrible voice acting be on this list? Well, it's on the list because of just that. It is so bad. I'm sure you guys are pretty familiar after we reviewed this game a while ago. It's one of my guilty pleasures to go play this game in an arcade solely just to hear the guys say,
"We're meeting G over there."
Gerard and I constantly quote this game while we're doing pretty much anything. Sometimes there's complete silence and then one of us will break into Goldman's speech, complete with terrible laughing, and riff on it for probably way too long.
People of the AMS, I am Goldman.
7. I talked about this game in my last top 10 because it's one of my favorites. The folks at Rockstar really hit their stride with Vice City. One of the main reasons why it was so great is because of one man, Ray Liotta. How many times can you hear someone being called a prick by Tommy Vercetti before you get tired of it? The answer is, it never gets old. The man has so many amazing angry one-liners in this game. There's actually a video on YouTube of someone who collected all of them and put them into a 15-minute video. This is one example of when you get a truly talented actor to do video game voiceovers. 6. I tried to single out one game in particular from Blizzard, but it was just too hard. Deckard Cain will go down in history as one of the most iconic video game voices, and StarCraft has so many great one-liners like, "Delighted to, sir!" and the infamous, "Need a light?" Now that I think of it, the one that I can specifically remember for having great voice acting was Warcraft 3. I can't tell you how many times I would click on each different unit to see what ridiculous responses I could get out of them. After bugging them too many times, they released the really funny lines like, "Me not that kind of orc," and "Guns don't kill people, I do!" I was very happy to find out in 2006 that they kept the same humor in World of Warcraft. I certainly enjoyed a little bit too much of that game. Cheers, Blizzard. You never disappoint. Oh wait. 5. I'm not going to spend too much time here because you know how important this one is. It gave Mario his real voice and gave everyone the best thing to say when jumping off the very top of a tree. Woo! 4. Now this is probably where my true love of video game voiceovers came from. I remember going to New York Pizza in Mission Viejo and playing this game with a slice of pizza in my hand. Well, maybe the slice didn't make it all the way over to the machine because I would shovel it in my face as a child, but we played lots of NBA Jam nonetheless. The announcer, done in a sort of Marv Albert style, shouted phrases like, "Nail in the coffin, from downtown," and the most widely known of all, "Boom shakalaka." My brother and I played this game so much that even my parents, to this day, still quote NBA Jam, a Wilmot family staple as well as a worldwide phenomenon. 3. Here's another game that I loved very early on in my childhood. Perhaps too early, but that's my parents' fault. Anyways, who could forget the great lines we have in here? Fun fact, I told my wife I was doing this top 10 and she looked at me and said, "Get over here!" Most people know "finish him" as well, but there is one voiceover in particular that stands out more than any other, and that would be Toasty. Do you remember the instant confusion when you and your friends first got a Toasty? There were so many rumors about who he was and what exactly he was saying, and if he entered in a certain combination of buttons, you could unlock characters, do an instant fatality, and other such nonsense. But then if you pressed down and the start button on the portal level while his face was on screen, you could actually fight Smoke. Blew all of our minds as kids when we first figured that out. And the story of how it all came to be is pretty funny, and it's really just an inside joke between the developers. Great stuff. I know what you guys are thinking. A lot of the famous lines from this game are just lifted from movies and pop culture, but I'm okay with that. You know why? Because this was the first time that all of these lines were said by one of, nay, the most badass action hero ever. Tell me how wrong I am in the comments, folks, but I don't care. I love Duke. He's the greatest. I even love the next-gen sequel. I will even forgive the fact that the same actor who voiced Duke also voiced Big the Cat. Man, I just realized how controversial everything I said in the last few moments was. Anyways, my favorite line will always be, "Your face, your ass, what's the difference?" Poetry. 1. Liam Neeson. He is the sole reason why I cared so much about finishing this game. Why, you ask? Because he was the voice actor that portrayed your father in the game. Every time I heard him speak, I wanted to run across the wasteland yelling, "Daddy!" I made it my mission to find him, and I completed the game in only a few days because I wanted to know what happened to him so bad. This shows that sometimes a AAA actor in a video game can really do some good. Perhaps not in the current box office films, but definitely in games. Come on out, all you top actors. Video games are legitimate pieces of art that need your guys' voices. I'm talking to you, Walken. Need you to voice that owl in Ocarina of Time. Hoot. Well, folks, I hope you've enjoyed the top 10 most memorable voiceovers in video game history. Next week, like I said, we will be back with another episode of Defend It. And I have a little surprise for you guys. It is the holiday season. We're going to have shirts. We're going to have shirts that say bears on them.
feels excited. Are you excited? It's the most wonderful time of the year. You want to climb the tree? Climb the Yuletide masterpiece.